Located just near the shadow of the arch, this 1.25-mile racetrack lies in the midst of multiple interstate junctions. Once a road course, the track today is now an egg-shaped speedway. With its slim degrees of banking in the turns, this unique track is a fan favorite to all and is no stranger to excitement. Meaning, we could see a Louisiana dive bomb here tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. Hi and welcome all. This is race number 8 of the Area Elite Entertainment Cup Series powered by Butt Kicker. We're live in Madison, Illinois for the Gateway 200. I'm Hunter Sleppy, and joining me, as always, is executive producer Harold Darner. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Tonight, man, we're going to be just outside of St. Louis. It's kind of funny. You see the Gateway in the screen there. There's a river called the Mighty Mississippi between this and that. So we're actually on the Illinois side of St. Louis. Also, you know, people call that East St. Louis. Well, there is a city that way, but Madison is just north of that. But that's what you look at. If you've ever been to St. Louis, that arch is impressive at a distance, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth the money to get up into it, but hey, that's just me.
Well, fellow competitor Ryan Swan calls it the STL.
Yeah.
Good nickname for him.
Well, the STL, that's the old Nick, the three-letter identifier for the Cardinals for baseball, if I remember right.
Yes, it is. I think Ryan Swan is a big Cardinals guy. I'm not 100% sure on that, but what I am 100% sure of is that we have a highlight video for you guys in case you missed last week's race at Darlington. Now, we were off last week. We had the All-Star race on Tuesday, so the previous week, been a while since we've had a Cup race, so just going to fill you in on what you missed out the last time we went racing. James Scioli going to lead the field to the green flag, and we're underway from Darlington for the Butt Kicker Southern 500. That'll be their Darlington stripe.
Yeah, we hit it hard enough, that's what's going to happen. And the caution is now out. Looking like Eli Green and Forrest Smith are involved in this one. So Green,
and right back in front of Forrest Smith. And then pick them off one by one whenever you guys can.
Whoa, Cameron
spin in the back. Yep, the 67 spinning down there. Oh, watch out. Looked like that was Tyler Nichols there going low to avoid that.
On the service, I think the high side is the better one to have. Because you
stack up. We got to spin.
On the start.
Big stack up.
Wow. And
it was Dom DeLeo spinning.
Around.
Boy, that is something you do not want to see.
Yikes. Mimicking reality there. So that was pretty much everybody on this. See how wide this corner is? But below that dashed white line is no man's land.
Oh, we
into
just got
the wall.
Spin. Right in front of our leader, James Scioli, was one of the lap cars.
And there, Weishart lets him go around. Maybe David Weishart's going to be pitting this time. There he goes, Scioli with him.
Oh, he missed it.
Ooh.
Oh, that is costly. We got a spin on the front stretch. Ryan Swan. Oh, Scioli on the pit lane. Jake Nichols.
No caution.
Being the first driver one lap down. James Scioli, our leader at one point, that came down pit road, stuck a lap.
Sliding across. That's Heath.
That's Garrett Heath. Right on the front stretch. That could bring out a caution, but it did not.
Let me pull up my yearbook. Wait, this is the first time we're here, so I have no yearbook.
No, you need to bring up. Oh, we got a spin. Car on the inside wall back there. Couldn't quite get a glimpse of what that was. That Garrett Grant in the 5. Boy, this is about the third or fourth time we've seen a car spin to the inside wall, and no caution come out for it.
The caution is now out.
Oh, there we go.
And looks like, if I can find it here, looks like we have Dominic DeLeo, Hearn, Connor Okresic. Oh, into the wall,
car in the wall. That is Miglin. These front four have driven away, but back behind them it is chaos.
Trying to get around that 4, but if you watch the cartoon, you know Johnny's hair never moved.
Yeah, that was sideways from the 81 of Culberson. He got really sideways there coming out of turn 2. They're still checking up behind him.
Well, Miglin driving pretty darn quick for having no hood.
Oh, man, they are still loose coming off of the exits. Wow.
81's got fresh tires, so not sure why he's not able to just pass him. Well, Miglin does too. Miglin did take tires, so the 28.
Oh, that is. Yeah, that was Nick Johnston. He was running in. He was battling for second, and now he's down on the inside wall. So no caution there. That is Matt Alverson. Oh, and Williamson in the wall. There they go. Contact.
Oh, man. Wall
Still
glue.
making contact into the wall. The 53 of Williamson. That could have been a caution right there.
No caution.
Weishart and Alverson getting a piece of that, but no yellow. On the 64 car. That is Ed
Caution.
Robertson. Oh, wreck right in front of them. That's Cameron Hearn, Justin Wilson.
It was Justin
There's these
Wilson,
guys that are slowing down in the back, trying to avoid this. So we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out this caution. Actually, you know what? JBR is running 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I just realized that. Jordan Martin in the 11th. Oh, as soon as I see that, Ryan Swan
Bell.
to the inside wall.
Swan and Bell, yeah.
Well, that was behind Jacob Bell, but he was in the wall. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out this caution, which, once again...
Whoa, ow.
Oh.
Jake Bell into the wall, into the wall, into the wall. And, ooh. And then he touches, that was Nick Johnston, but it's definitely the 77. And then, ooh, coming out of left field there was like Gary Lewis, the 150. Oh! That's the caution.
Wow. Yeah, that that was the caution. That run should help the 11 down the straightaway, but the 28 going to sidestep. Oh, he's going to turn him down the straightaway into turn 1. Back in front of the field. Caution's back out. Close to making contact there as Weishart dives beneath the one of Swan and into the lead. Hearn now looking to the inside of Ryan Swan as well. It's going to be tight there in turn 2. Nichols in the wall. Valentino in the wall as well. He's going to spin out.
Caution.
Man, tough break there for the 91 of Jake Nichols. Yeah, but not too far back. You got Hearn and Heath watching, waiting to see what will happen.
33 at the stripe.
Yep, Hart's down on the bottom, going into turn 1. He's going to take the lead away from David Weishart. Ryan Hart's to the lead with 9 to go. He's won in the CNC Logging Truck Series this year. He's won in the Lodge Box Series this year. And coming off turn 4, he's going to win in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. He wins the Butt Kicker Southern 500. That is a little recap of what you guys may or may not have missed from last week's race at Darlington. Ryan Arts, gotta get this off the bat. He's won a race in the CNC Logging Truck Series, in the Lodge Box Series, and then just the previous race in the Cup Series. One at Darlington. But get this, Harold. 0 incident points, 0x. How is that even possible? Well,
Keep it off the walls. That's what you do.
yeah, everybody and their mom had Darlington strike except for Ryan Hartz. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. That was just nuts. We'll see if he can try and replicate that here in Gateway. Don't care if the track's called Worldwide Technology Raceway. It'll always be Gateway. So we'll have a 10-minute qualifying session, and one of the first drivers to go out is the number 64 of Ed Robertson from Jobstown, New Jersey. Mr. Ed Robertson already has a cup win this season in the race that we went to on the West Coast in Auto Club.
Looks like the contest has opened up.
Oh, and he's actually spun out coming to the green flag lap. Well, that is not what you want to see.
Remember, we talked about it when we were here with, I think...
the Arctic cars.
Yeah, that people were pinballing out of that cutaway on the backstretch.
Yeah, it's It's an interesting little tidbit here about Gateway because it's got such a unique characteristic. It's basically like a flat Darlington, and there's Harold circling out right there. That backstretch wall kind of extends out.
Well, it goes in and then comes back out. So you see how it goes away from the track and then comes back. But there's a invisible wall basically here that'll knock the car back into play. And we saw that happen to, Don DeLeo towards the end of the ARCA race, wasn't it?
Yep, they were in a green white checker. Don DeLeo was setting up for a good finish, but he just got clipped in that late race wreck. So we see Michael Larch put up the only time on the board, 36.735, and then Garrett Grant going to go ahead and dethrone that, and then he'll get dethroned by Forrest Smith, and then he'll get dethroned by Nick Johnston. Oh, man. 1 by 1. Oh, man.
It's like, no, we're going to do this better than you. It is a very interesting racetrack where you talk about kind of like a flat Darlington. It's a little smaller than Darlington as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Darlington is around 1.33 miles or 1.37 miles, and then Gateway here, 1.25 miles. And as you guys have seen in the chat, the contest has opened. As usual, the question for tonight's race is, what team will win tonight's Elite Entertainment Cup Series race? Now, we got 8 teams. Well, we got 9 options, but 8 of them are actual teams, and there's 1 for all the open cars in the field. So the options, as usual, Solar, Transcendent, Infinite, Physicus, Elwood, JBR, DWR, Elite, and then all the open cars are listed under non-team. So a little tidbit on how you can place a bet with your channel points. Type in !bet, and whatever team you think has the best shot at winning, or non-team. And then any channel point amount from 5 to 100 points. So we're looking at Brad Slaughter going through for his qualifying time. We got none other than the Jacob Bell putting 50 points on David Weishart Racing.
Elwood going against his own team.
Well, Elwood's putting up 50 for Solar.
Yeah, wow.
And Harold, you put 100 on Solar. And another bet for Solar. Man, Solar's got the majority of the votes so far.
Still got a long way to go to get to buy anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could type in !store and it'll give you a link as to what merchandise is available for grabs for the giveaway. It could be anything from an Area iRacing sticker to a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, or even an Apple iTunes gift card. But there's only a limited amount of all those products, so you got to make sure you get as many channel points as you can, and you can redeem it for some free merch. Here's one of the cars that you can select under the non-field or non-team. Was it non-team? Yes, correct. Non-team option. That is Justin Wilson, the number 58. He's one of the open cars that does not have a team. And if you're pulling for Elite Entertainment, you're liking what you're seeing with Cameron Hearn, one of their drivers, currently on the pole, or Infinite. Got Nick Johnson up there, P2. Another one for the non-team drivers. Got Rafe Slade up there, currently 3rd quickest. And then here's one of the Solar Flare Racing drivers. It's Dwayne Culberson in the number 81.
This is one of those tracks that just because you're the fastest car doesn't necessarily put you at the checkered flag first. A lot of strategy going to be playing out there here. You were talking about shifting being involved as well.
Yeah, we've heard that a majority of the drivers are downshifting into 3rd gear. So I'm not sure if they're going all the way into fifth gear or if they're just keeping it in fourth and then going down to third. We see the 91 of Jake Nichols. This is the driver to watch out for. This is the driver that is making a lot of people select, okay, I'm going to go with Solar Flare Racing on this. That's why we're seeing a lot of bets on Solar.
Well, you see the gear right here in his heads-up display, all the way down to third gear. You see the RPMs there as well. I really like this dashboard. It really helps us out as broadcasters.
Yep, so this is exactly what Jake Nichols is seeing now. He is going in the fifth gear, then downshifting to fourth.
Yeah, downshifting in both corners.
Yeah. He's staying in fourth through 3 and 4, but in 1 and 2, got to go all the way down to third. He'll come across the stripe and put up 34.573. That is, or 5.57, excuse me. That is second quickest to Cameron Hearn.
Still got another lap, though.
Oh, absolutely. Always room for improvement.
Really got away out of it on turn 4 in this track because of how flat it is. And
oh,
wow,
he might have tapped the wall there coming out of 4.
Yep, he did. He knew he did. That's why he came out of it. So
And
Jake Nichols be on the outside pole currently.
Yep, currently. And the driver right behind him, James Scioli, he led the most laps last week at Darlington, led 87 laps, but then got caught in a lengthy pit stop for some weird reason. He was 60 seconds in the pit box, and he was stuck a lap down. Then he got caught up in a wreck towards the second half of the race and ended up finishing in 27th.
Oh, man. Rowdy Burns on the bench tonight. Got to work in real life.
Yeah, that is Gary Lewis. Took part in Tuesday night's All-Star race. It was also his birthday, so I already said on the broadcast, but I'm going to give another belated happy birthday to Gary Lewis, and I believe Ken gave him the Sasquatch Award.
I believe that is correct.
So he'll be getting a Sasquatch coin within the next handful of weeks or so.
And we got to give us the address to send it to.
So a little over a minute remaining here, and none of these laps for Jake Nichols will count, but you're seeing his fastest lap was currently quicker than the pole time.
It is basically getting some extra laps in. I mean, if he might not be familiar with this particular track and wants to get some extra time in. It's a good way to use it. Because as long as you don't get out of the car, you have the ability to put as many laps as you want during qualifying.
Looking through the chat, someone's asking if they could get a Travis Beckner t-shirt. Well, you actually can. If you go to areairacing.shop, you can select any merch from Travis Beckner, whether it be a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, could be a tank top, could be a sticker. I really like the stickers that they got, not only just for Travis Beckner, but for drivers like Eric Wineland, Ed Robertson, James Shanewolf. You can even purchase some of the commentators' collection in the Louisiana Dive Bomb. You could add that to your collection. We got crop hoodies, we got pillows, we got everything that you guys need. Just head over to areairacing.shop for your driver's needs. Didn't know how to end that one off there, but you can select any driver, anything from areairacing.shop. Now we'll get your starting lineup for you for tonight's race at Gateway, the Gateway 200, and on the pole will be Cameron Hearn. And outside of him will be Jake Nichols starting second. Row 2, going to be James Scioli and Nick Johnston. Row 3, Rafe Slate and Chris Seidenfeiden. Row 4, David Weishart and Garrett Heath. Now, keep an eye on Weishart. He's saying that he's been downshifting in the second gear. I want to see if that's actually the case or not for that number 33 car, as he starts in row 4. And then in row 5, right behind him, Garrett Grant and Paul Irvin. They call him Swervin' Irvin for a reason, Harold.
Yep, and then we got Dwayne Culberson on the inside of 6. Outside of him is Randy Betchel. Jordan Martin with Ryan Swan in 7. Row number 8, Dominic DeLeo and Forrest Smith. Behind them in 17th is Miglin and Robertson. And Stan Miglin there. And then Jacob Bell and Jay Perkins will be in row number 10.
Row 11 going to be Brad Slaughter and Michael Larch. Row 12 going to be Mark Patterson in the number 51 and Alan Balancino. Balancino came in second in the All-Star race, so going to be starting from the back in the 12th row, and just behind him in row 13, Justin Wilson and Tyler Nichols, TK Nichols over there. And in the last row, Brian Dixon and Adam Capp. So only got 28 drivers for tonight's race, and oddly enough, David Weishart said he wasn't even going to qualify, and he's inside the top 10. All right, Harold, well, we know that you're going with Solar Flare Racing, but is there a certain driver that you're going to keep an eye on?
Oh, definitely going to keep an eye on Jake Nichols. Jake's just one of those drivers that understands the race car. So maybe he doesn't know the track, or maybe new to the track or whatever, but he understands this particular car model, how the tires react. He understands tire fall off, how that affects the car. He talked about the plateaus. That's what we need to work on. Watch the 91, and he really knows how to pull the fuel issue, because, you know, he's done that several times where he split the race in half. So
we are waiting for the pace car to make the hard left turn on the pit road. Kind of a weird left turn here for the pace car. Right over there. We'll have Cameron Hearn and Jake Nichols on the front row leading the field to the green flag, and we're underway from Gateway. So we already see some slicing and dicing towards the back, but Cameron Hearn took the outer approach through 1 and 2. Now going to take the low approach and slowly move up to the outside in 3 and 4.
we see multiple grooves here getting in and
whoa, we got a wreck right in the back.
That was the 12 car of Rafe Slate involved.
A massive wreck on the front stretch here as they come across the stripe to complete the first lap. Caution's already out.
Yep, that was going to be a lot of cars involved. That's Seidenfaden in the 45.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it was Garrett Green, because they both have similar paint schemes, but obviously different numbers. So Rafe Slate obviously being involved. We'll take a look at our 1 to go replay here for the first time tonight and look at what brought out the first caution of the race. It was tight battle here. They were working their way off of turn 4. So there's Rafe Slate on the bottom side and Fine on the outside. I was going to say that be careful for that turn 4 wall, because it'll come up and surprise you. And the 45 got loose into the 12 of Rafe Slate and absolutely nowhere to go. Just carnage on the front stretch. This collected a bunch of them.
So we see the 45 continue to make his way up to the wall and then down back into the 12. So keep an eye on that here. There's the connection, and then the 12 gets turned. And then we'll switch to the 12 because I want to see. Yep, there's Rafe Slate. And we'll go with this view because I want to see what comes behind it. So there's the 12 spinning. And there's not a lot of room on the front stretch. That's why you see all these cars just basically piling on in.
Yeah, the track becomes virtually blocked there, and drivers have to come to a complete stop in order to avoid the carnage. So a number of drivers coming in to make early repairs to their automobiles, and one of those actually didn't get damaged, but Cameron Hearn decided to bring that number 67 down the pit road, and he's going to hand over the lead to Jake Nichols.
Yeah, very interesting with that kind of thing. Do you really want to be in the back? Like, David Weishart was part of that, and he elected to stay out.
Yeah, Weishart currently sitting in the 4th spot.
You see that damage on the left front right here?
Yeah, he's got a good bit of damage. Not sure if he's communicating to his teammate James Scioli there.
Oh, he's got some more damage right there, as well as the door here.
Yeah, there's damage all over that number 33, but he's electing to stay out and thinking that it might be just cosmetic and nothing internal. So we could see the lights go out on the pace car. Yep, and they do indeed go out. So we'll be going green next time by, and we'll see if these guys are able to come off turn 4 and complete a lap under green flag conditions.
Just goes to show us that these cars are awful loose at the start of the run. Hopefully the heat getting the tires will get this going racing.
Still a number of drivers down in the pits. Not sure if they're still taking the time to repair the damage or if some are calling it a night right away.
Slate, Heath, Robertson, Seidenfaden, Vegetal, all still on pit lane. Dominic Leo, 115 in the box, but he's back on the racetrack.
Yeah, the only time Dom DeLeo was here was in the ARCA series last season, and he was, as we mentioned in the previous, he was up in front trying to get a good finish in a green-white checker, and he got in that wreck on the backstretch there with that wall that sticks out, as we pointed out. And now we see the field coming back to the green flag with Jake Nichols as the leader.
Keep an eye on Jake Nichols. I wish we had an in-car for him. Maybe hint, hint, Jake, send us your in-car so we can see how he actually takes these corners and how much wheel input he puts into it.
Now they're going to work their way off turn 4, and it looks like the damage isn't affecting the 33 of Weishart too much. He hasn't really lost that much speed. He's actually moved up a spot since we went back green.
Yeah, like I said, if it's not hurt his engine any, and it's not really an aero-sensitive track, you know, I'd be more worried about the damage, you know, maybe hurting his RPMs. And we'll see that a little later.
One thing we're seeing right now is, well, Brave Slate just put up the fastest time, but before then it was that 28 of Nick Johnston all over the bumper of our leader Jake Nichols as he comes off the corner and leads another lap.
You're talking about the shifting here, maybe in Weishart's advantage, you know, for, you know, any kind of damage you might have on that front. This is able to get that thing slowed up better than anyone else because it's kind of got like a little parachute going on.
Yeah, that could be a saving grace. So we saw the 28 of Johnston try to cut it down on the bottom coming out of turn 2. Couldn't quite get the run off the corner like Nichols did. So the front 4 have pulled away.
We talk about tires all the time. In a track like this, you got to be easy on the brakes and then also watch that right rear tire. Getting down and underneath another car may be the fastest way around the track, but it could be burning up that right rear tire and allow you to be passed later on. So that's that long run speed you hear on Sundays.
Oh yeah, one driver that is solid on the long runs is the 91 of Jake Nichols. Oh, car in the wall back there. Looks to be... I can't really quite tell what car that was.
And everybody is up to speed, so the person's up. It could be Rafe Slate, possibly.
No, it was not. It's not the 12. It happened right around the 8th spot. Might have been Justin Wilson. It was a white car. Oh, caution's out. Second caution has come out on lap number 10. We'll go ahead and take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out the second caution.
Michael Larch is all I'm seeing right now.
So from the aerial view, we're looking at the number 2 of Michael Larch just getting loose coming out of turn 2 in the grass and just keeping that car sideways, and looked like that was enough to trigger the caution.
And iRacing is the one who decides the flag, so iRacing said that was enough. But we can see back here really quick here with the number 2 of Michael Larch as he gets off a corner. It looks like the second, off a 2. A little bit squirrely for him, so we'll get it in right here. He slides it, and he almost kills the cone. But he locks it up and keeps it out of the racing groove, but he's on that bottom groove. iRacing says caution.
And with that caution coming out, Dom DeLeo is going to pick up the free pass.
Sure he's liking that after the start he's had thus far.
Oh, absolutely. Always to get the bad out in the early and rather have the good happen towards the end. Looking through, and Gary Lewis is putting in the chat, if Brandon Jones can lead at Texas with his damage, think Weishart will be okay. For those that might have missed the Xfinity race on Saturday, there were a bunch of vehicles that got caught up in accidents, and one of them being Brandon Jones and the front of his car. It looked like there was a hole in it, even with the bare bond repair, and it looked like it was affecting the car bad, but somehow he drove himself up to the lead with that damage. I mean, think about like a caved in front bumper. That is basically what Brandon Jones had, and somehow he drove it up to the lead. Although that's not the case for David Weishart. He's got damage on the side, the left side, and the bumper of that 33. But with the downshifting that we're seeing here in the Gateway 200, I think it's helping that number 33 quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on him throughout the rest of this thing.
One thing we can keep an eye on, as we're currently on lap 13 of 140 in race number 8, are the playoff standings. We couldn't really quite get a look at the playoff standings for the drivers and the teams in the pre-race. So we'll go ahead and show that to you. So this is after week 7. So Jake Nichols, Ryan Hartz, Eli Green, Ed Robertson are all locked in. Garrett Heath and Dom DeLeo. Dom DeLeo entered tonight's race 6th in the points, plus 23. And Ryan Swan, P7. Then you got Scioli, Hearn, Tyler Nichols, Weishart, and Bechtel. So Weishart only plus 8 to the good, and him staying out after being involved in that first caution, really paying dividends. And that's hurting Randy Bechtel, only 5 to the good, and he's currently sitting last on the chart. And then the cup standings, it is tight battle. We got a 18-point gap between Solar Flare Racing and Jacob Bell Racing, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all separated by a point. Very, very close stuff. And then Transcendent and Elite Entertainment also close as well. Elwood Designs not too far behind, sitting there in the 8th spot in the team standings. And I believe we got the one to go, if I'm not mistaken. I see the cars are doubled up, and it looks like we'll be going green flag racing when these cars come across the stripe.
Yeah, we got it in. Now they'll go green. Now that they knew that was they're waiting on that.
Yeah, now we'll get a nice long green flag run. And currently looking at a fuel run of about 50 to 55 laps. But obviously with the first 2 cautions, that's going to extend by a lot of laps for those that stayed out and did not pit.
So we'll look at Jake Nichols, see what he's going to end up doing. I'd say he's going to try to get to that halfway mark before he comes down. So we'll see.
We will see as we see the green flag fly once more from Gateway.
Number 91, remembering the rules, you can't change until the start-finish line. Got across the stripe and right up in front of Johnston in the number 28, but now he takes the inside line trying to slide job off the backstretch.
Yeah, he's going to send it down into turn 3. Might slide up the track a bit. James Kiley now moves into 3rd. Weishart down the 4th, being under attack from Brad Slaughter from behind for the 5th spot.
Single file line all the way back to the Eat, Sleep, Race machine with Alan Ballacino.
Yep, and he completed the slide on the 81 of Dwayne Culberson. Now he's looking to take 7th from Justin Wilson, but all single file. Now this is going to be a real interesting race because not only is this a track that area hasn't been at for the Cup Series, neither has NASCAR. Cup Series has not gone racing here. Still waiting for the Xfinity cars to come back, but we'll be seeing the Cup cars here in a couple of weeks. It's the first race after the Coca-Cola 600 that will be currently this Sunday. And we'll be off next week from area. All 3 leagues will be taking a week off for Memorial Day.
So that would be, like you said, that's the thing about iRacing is they have no data to really work off of, and their official series follows the iRacing schedule, and all of the designers for these fixed setups usually don't get in and start tweaking them until the official series start going to the track, which will be, like we said, in 2 weeks. So, see, it'd be interesting how they handle that tonight.
And Nick Johnston currently pulling out to a half-second lead over Jake Nichols. Top 5 have kind of pulled away from each other. It's this little gaggle back here for the 6th spot. Got Garrett Grant, Justin Wilson, and Alan Ballacino. Really closest battle we're seeing as Ballacino trying to cut down to the inside of the 58 of Wilson. And Wilson coming underneath the 5 of Garrett Grant. But then tuck it back in line. Towards the back here, got Dominic DeLeo and Ryan Swan. Dom DeLeo was the lucky dog for that previous caution, so he's back on the lead lap after staying in the pits for a lengthy time, repairing the damage that he received in the first caution. Back up front, it is still Nick Johnston, increasing his gap now close to 7 car lengths over the 91 of Jake Nichols. Well, Justin Wilson still trying to get around the 5 of Garrett Grant. Keeps chopping that car down on the bottom, trying to stick his nose down in. Oh, and now he's got Ballacino underneath of him. Boy, that turn 4 wall, it's still... Every time I see the cars get near, I just start to panic. I'm like, oh no, don't get too close. And especially after the first caution, I'm really more concerned now. Meanwhile, behind this 3-car battle, we saw the 69, or excuse me, the 67 of Cameron Hearn go up to the 9th spot, passing the 81 of Dwayne Culberson. And in front of him, this battle still going on now for 7th as Garrett Grant trying to drive away from Justin Wilson and Alan Ballacino. Some of the drivers are still in their throwback paint schemes from Darlington. And obviously one of those being Cameron Hearn with the Skull Bandit. And then Rafe Slate, you saw, he still had his Darlington throwback on. Some drivers forget to switch back to their regular schemes, or some drivers just love the throwback scheme so much that they'll keep it. We got a slow car on the back stretch. It is, I believe that's Jay Perkins. For some reason, his car is slowed down. Actually, that's Garrett Heath. My apologies. Car is like moving at the speed of a turtle. I don't think this will trigger a caution. He's going to go
on
ahead
the
and take the
line.
access road. Yeah. This is actually the entrance to pit road because of how weird I'd say this pit road is. We go from one track with a weird pit road to another, and turn 3 is really the only spot where these cars can go and make their entrance to pit road.
That is a blown motor. No RPMs.
Yeah, so it looks like, oh man, that looks like that will bring out the caution for the 23 of Garrett Heath, even though he's on the access road going down the pit road. iRacing has deemed that as a caution, and so lap number 24 we'll have our third yellow of the race.
Oh, and there we. I'll back it up because that's what. Soon as we came in and we could hear it. So let's check that out. You just watch the black smoke come out of the hood here. We'll go boom. There it goes.
That happened right in front of the one of Ryan Swan, who was also caught up in that first caution and just trying to ride with the damage that he's got on that number 1. His car is still limping the pit road, but it is deemed as a safety hazard for iRacing, and well, that's why, because we got the leaders coming on the pit road right now. And Garrett Heath has parked it in the pits. Everyone but Alan Balancino staying out on the track. Forrest Smith as well. Looks like Ed Robertson is also staying out. But a good bit of the drivers are coming down pit road. It's actually Brad Slaughter stayed out in front of all those guys. Car is so fast even under a caution. So we see the battle off of pit road. Looks like Jake Nichols beat out Nick Johnston. Johnston going to lose a few spots, and James Kiley going to move up to second in the exit off pit road. Johnston third, Weishart, Hearn, the top 5, and then Garrett Grant going to come in 6th, but 10th on the scoreboard. Coverage of tonight's Elite Entertainment Cup Series, powered by Butt Kicker, is brought to you by Elite Entertainment. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series and from all of us here at Area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event. Looked like we were going to have a decent green flag run there, but the slow car of Garrett Heath after his motor expired over in turn 2, limping at the speed of a turtle, it was deemed by iRacing enough to throw out a caution. So we've got our third yellow in 24 laps, and when these cars come across the stripe next time by, it will be the one to go. Looks like a couple of the cars that stayed out have come down pit road now. So, Harold, I'm going to ask you to put the crew chief hat back on. What do you think that the 88 and 70 are doing staying out while the rest of the field comes in?
They're thinking track position, that they don't want to be back there. 27 laps in on this run for tires and fuel. He said that they can still, with these laps, they could probably still get to halfway. But right now, track position, too much of a commodity to give up this early in the race. And we saw it that early first caution. We didn't get to the first lap, and the back half, almost all were caught up in it.
First wreck really changed the outcome of this race because it's just so early to see the track blocked, and handful of drivers get caught up in and having to repair the damage. And speaking of the first caution, it looks like Randy Bechtel and Chris Seidenfein have disconnected for the night after that first lap caution, and they didn't even complete a lap. Garrett Heath is still down pit road, although his engine kablooey. He's done. Ed Robertson is 4 laps down. Ray Slate 1 lap down. Everybody else is on the lead lap. Got 23 drivers, with the last of those 23 being Brian Dixon.
Brad Slaughter electing to take the outside. That'll put Alan Ballacino down in the 70 on the inside. And I say it here, you know, these guys, you're gonna have to keep an eye on these guys all the way around this racetrack and see what they can get away with tires. We'll see here. The outside line is what Brad Slaughter thinks is gonna work for him. Here he goes.
Yep, and Brad's grandfather, always a fan of watching his son go, or grandson go out and making the gutsy calls like he is right now, choosing to restart on the outside lane, staying out everyone else behind him other than Alan Ballacino, with a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles. If this were a green-white checker, I'd say he's pretty much nailed it, but still got over 100 laps left, and we'll see if this race can go on a long run, what this will do for the 88 and the 70.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers looking at the early cautions, believing that those cautions will come back around again.
Here comes the 7 of James Connolly down to the bottom. He's one of the drivers with a fresh set of tires, and Brad Slaughter still trying to use the top to get the run. Now here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols, going to give a little run for the 88 of Brad Slaughter. Oh, that got close there in turn 4. Brad Slaughter nearly getting into the wall. Guiley's going to come across the stripe and lead that lap. Here comes Nick Johnston down to the bottom, moving for second.
He's going to get that. He's got that. He's a short speed, very good.
Oh, contact for the Slaughter in the wall. Oh, we got Cameron Hearn spinning around.
Caution is out.
The 4th caution of the race falling on lap 31. And that all started when the 28 of Johnston came up in front of Brad Slaughter, and it set off a chain of events. So we'll take a look at our 1 to go replay and look at exactly what determined this caution. So it's going to be right up front. The 28 is going to come up on the 88 of Slaughter, and this is going to start things off.
Well, he took the air off of the 28 of the 81, because Nick really didn't get anywhere near. We get up here to, so watch the 88. You're going to see the 28 slide in front of, but no contact is going to be made.
Yeah, he slides up in front of Slaughter, and this gets the 88 bent out of shape. Then he's in the wall trying to stay out of it. And then Cameron Hearn's just going to spin to the inside after having to avoid hitting the 88 and the 33. So we'll watch from the in-car view of Cameron Hearn.
Cameron Hearn does a really good job of keeping that car out of trouble. I don't see any contact made with anything.
Yeah, Cameron Hearn, he had a handful. I'd say 2 handfuls. The previous race at Darlington, he got involved in a couple of the cautions and wound up finishing second out of that whole ordeal. But he's a master at avoiding things. He avoided the 88, he avoided the 33, and he avoided hitting the wall. So he avoided hitting 3 things there down the back stretch. And it seemed like at one point he might have hit all 3.
Definitely good at evasive maneuvers.
Oh, absolutely.
I've done a little bit of practice in a couple of this car, and it's like once it gets out of shape, it likes to whip around to the right. And Cameron got the slide started, and had it under control. But yeah, very hard to keep the car going straight when you're trying to avoid somebody in front of you and air is being disrupted all around you.
Brad Slaughter coming out of pit road. He's going to be able to stay on the lead lap, but it wouldn't surprise me if he brings that 88 car back down pit road. With that caution coming out, Ryan Swan was the recipient of the free pass. So the only car that is a lap down, and he's actually 4 laps down, is Ed Robertson. So we get about 4 more cautions, and Ed's back in this thing. Now we see the one of Swan down pit road. He might still be trying to fix some of the damage that he's got on that automobile. So these cars will come across the stripe for the 1 to go, and they'll line up for the restart. Well, it looks like James Scarlett liked what he saw on that previous restart when he saw the 88 of Slaughter electing to restart on the outside. So he'll choose the outside lane for this upcoming restart. Now, as mentioned, after the Coke 600, the NASCAR Cup Series will be going to Gateway, and if this race is going to be a preview of that, I'd have to say that it looks like these cars are going to be a handful on this short track. It's over a mile, but it really feels like a short track with the tight turns that we got. And we'll see the pace car dive down into pit road once more. Skyley going to restart from the outside. Johnston on the bottom. Got to wait for that leader to fire off, and then he can go. And I didn't even think about this guy. He's got teammate David Weishart right behind him, so they're going to be 1-2 heading into turn 1. An excellent restart from David Weishart Racing. Drivers running 1-2. That's the max amount of points you can get for a team out of this race. Is having your drivers running 1-2.
So only the top 2 of your up to 4 car team count, correct?
Correct. The top 2 finishing cars in your team will have their points count towards the team championship. And we've already seen that happen in the Lodgebox Series about, I'd say, 3 or 4 times with Elwood Design Esports. So looking at the top 5 here, got Skyley Weishart, Johnston, and Jake Nichols. And how about Justin Wilson? I don't believe anyone selected non-team as an option. Justin Wilson is a non-team driver. He's not on any team right now. He's open car, and he's currently running fit. So if you pick non-team, keep an eye on Justin Wilson. He might have something for these front runners up here. Boy, Johnston all over the bumper of Weishart. He's going to look to the inside of 33 for the second spot going into turn 1. Oh, you know what? I got pointed out in the chat. I didn't even realize it. Adam Capps is inside the top 10. Now, he started dead last in this field, so he is without a doubt the biggest mover of the race. He started all the way back in the 28th spot, and he's driven all the way inside the top 10. Solid run for the 55 of Adam Capps.
21 position gain. The other person is Justin Wilson, who's gaining 20 positions.
Oh, Capps trying to make it 22 with a dive bomb to Alan Balancino for the 6th spot. He's going to complete the pass. So plus 22 since the drop of the green flag for that number 55 of Adam Capps. Definitely keep an eye on him, although he is part of Elite Entertainment. So if you picked Elite Entertainment in the poll, looking pretty good right now. And obviously, with the speed that Cameron Hearn has, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets back up here the next 20 laps or so. When we talk about Justin Wilson, he's close on the bumper of Jake Nichols for that 4th spot. Going to look a little further back. So you got 4 Smith right there. And then the 4 of Daniel Miglin.
You were saying Garrett Heath was out with an engine. He did leave, but they can replace an engine in about 31 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna wait for that. I wouldn't wait for that. I'm impatient after a couple minutes, let alone 31 minutes.
And how I know that is based on endurance racing. In a 24-hour Daytona, you might switch out an engine and gain a lot of positions.
For endurance racing, yes, but for stock car racing, absolutely not.
Not gonna do it.
No, it will not do it. Oh, and now Balancino under fire from the 11 of Jordan Martin. He can't even go up to the outside. He might try another send down on the bottom. Nope. Can't quite get underneath the 55, but the 11 might have a run here underneath the 70. Nope. He's going to stay tucked in the line. Meanwhile, we got a battle up front for the 2nd spot. Weishart and Johnston are going at it. Johnston sliding up as well as Weishart trying to get the run off the corner. Got to be careful for this turn 4 wall, especially if you're running the top. Works out for the 33, but the 28 not giving up. He's going to send it down into turn 1.
That's burning that right rear tire. As you see him get a little bit squirrely off that corner.
Johnston going to slide back into 3rd. Meanwhile, James Connolly, he's encouraging more of that. He wants to see them side by side. It'll allow him to pull away even more. A little further back here, got the 5 of Garrett Grant closing in. Boy, it's a stack up here from about 6th on back. Really tight close quarters racing. We're going to ride on board with the Skull Bandit once more. Cameron Hearn down on the bottom, going to take away the 10th spot from Dwayne Culberson. Might have a nose underneath the 11 of Jordan Martin here. Now this is complete IndyCar. You saw him get a little loose there on the bottom. This is exactly what Cameron Hearn is seeing right now from the driver's seat.
I do know that Cameron Hearn has that quasi helmet. He's one of the VR guys.
Oh, even better.
It takes a little bit getting used to, but it doesn't weigh much more than a helmet does. And it does give you a different way of seeing the corners. I know when road racers say it's the greatest thing because they can look out and find that apex, by turning their head slightly to, look out in the distance and grab the apex and then drive the car to the apex, which is what they would do if they were in the actual cars. Not really something they do in NASCAR, since they got the Hans device. They really don't do a lot of moving their head. They use their eyes, but they have spotters to see around them. They're not really able to move their head much.
Yeah, well, it is working for Cameron Hearn. We saw before the front stretch, he was in 11th. Now he's up to 7th, and he's trying to take away 6th from Alan Balancino.
He's another one of the VR guys. Mr. Hearn is. We talk about Hearn being VR, but there's a couple other guys that are VR as well that we had seen. I haven't seen anybody give us a VR headset look yet. Cameron's saying his computer just not participating within this season because he used to send me his camera from a couple seasons back. So we're getting some issues. But we'll get that fixed and we'll get to see him. See how much cool hand Luke he is compared to Mr. Eric Wineland.
It will be interesting, and Also interesting is this battle now for third starting to heat up. Nick Johnston and Jake Nichols with Justin Wilson watching from behind, waiting to pounce at any given moment. It'll also be interesting to see if Cameron Hearn can catch up to this group, because the top two have pulled away a little bit from third, fourth, and fifth, but overall this top five has a gap of about 4 seconds between themselves and the sixth place car.
Every time we go by the backstretch, you see the outhouse. It makes me laugh because trying to remember who it was. I want to say it was Eric at Dover. My wife goes by, and I think it's Eric Jones come out of the porta potty on pit lane and almost knocked her out. It was pretty funny.
Well, it looks like he came out of the porta potty and brought out the caution. Fifth caution of the race on lap number 50. Take a look at our one-to-go replay, and it looks like it might be the two of Michael Arch striking again.
Say it isn't so, Joe. There's Adam Capps right there in front of him as well. So Lart and Forrest.
I'll say it looks like Forrest Smith.
Yeah.
Capps in front of Smith, in front of Larch. So we'll see as these guys are heading into turn 3. Got Smith going up high. Capps getting a little loose, and Smith trying to slow down. Coming down, contact was made between he and Larch. Larch keeping that thing straight, but the 84 of Smith going sideways.
The 84 slowed the corner down, was thinking to be better to take the low side as you watch him come from this spot down to the apron, while you see our number 2 car try that, pretty much the arc the corner, and we'll see that.
Yep, the rumble strips in the turns. Just slight contact there is all it took to send the 84 of Ford Smith around in turn 4. Bringing out the 5th caution on lap 50, courtesy of Eric Jones coming out of the porta potty.
That's right. Got to watch it.
Now we got, oh, here we go, Harold. We got a split decision here with drivers staying out and drivers pitting.
Uh-huh. Some in, some out, huh?
Yeah, what does this do for strategy? Because I would assume some of these guys that are pitting are going on their second set of tires right now.
I guess guys going into the pits now want to split the difference to the end. Guys staying out want to go maybe just one more time. We'll see how it works. We haven't got a lot of green flag runs, so I'm kind of like where Scioli's at, and I'm not going to give up track position until I absolutely have to.
Our series director Jacob Hudson and Pierce Maffin might be settling who's getting the EOL for that incident. Not sure if it's 100% confirmed or not.
Cameron Hearn announcing to the drivers that there's a storm in South Carolina where he's at, to let him know if he starts to blink out, because that internet connection could be an issue.
Yeah, it's amazing just how many parts of the country there are that's affected by rain or thunderstorms, because it seems like from the people that I'm talking to, everyone's got a thunderstorm or pop-up shower or rain just somewhere. There's crazy weather all around the country. I am now looking at the radar for South Carolina, and yeah, there is a big cell that is slowly dissipating. So it might not be too bad for Cameron Hearn. All the heavy stuff's starting to become light stuff.
Cameron, I believed you, man. Just so you know, I didn't have to go look it up.
Oh no, I've always been fascinated with weather and got my handy dandy weather app with me everywhere I go.
I deal with it enough at work. I don't really care when I get off.
Nonetheless, it is looking to get a little bit lighter, so it shouldn't affect Cameron Hearn too bad. But then again, thunderstorms and internet connection, not a good match. So it's a developing situation that we'll have to keep an eye on as we keep an eye on the restart here. Now, Skyler going to elect the inside, and teammate and owner David Weishart going to be on the outside. So there's Rafe Slate going to go around the track. So actually, the lights are back out on the pace car. So it looks like they added a lap, maybe a little scoring issue, and that's why we saw the 12 of Slate go around the field.
I'm sure I didn't see anything. I see 2 to go. Gaioli having some issues. This guy only having some quality issues. That's why we saw him coming in and out, in and out. Once we jumped off of him, put ourselves on Dave Weishart for focus for now. And let's see how that works out for Mr. Skyoli.
Now we see the 1 to go again. We should be going back green this time by. And when they come across the track, we'll be 15 laps away from the halfway point of tonight's race. Currently, we only have 3 drivers who have disconnected for the night. We got Bechtel, Seinfeld, and Heath with a blown motor, and it looks like the 48 of Paul Irvin, as we speak, has just disconnected.
Yes, that is right.
So Swervin Irvin has called it a night. Ed Robertson, 24th, 3 laps down, still in it. Not 100% sure if Jay Perkins has disconnected or not. He's currently 8 laps down, and he's been in his pits for about 8 minutes now. The green flag flies once more here at Gateway. Skyoli and Weishart on the front row. 90 laps to go, or actually 85 laps to go now. And Baller has just come into the chat saying Frozen VR.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
One thing about VR, if you have one like I had, the Odyssey has a headset as well. When you put you in there, my wife said the house could be on fire, and I would have never known about it.
Those VR headsets are nuts. Another thing that's nuts is thinking that Cameron Hearn was spun around about 20-ish laps ago, and now he's back inside the top 5. And that is the guy that Paul Irvin is looking at.
Skyoli's internet has improved.
Yeah, now Hearn down to the bottom. Looking for that 4th spot from Nick Johnson in the 28. Couldn't quite get around him. There's a big gaggle back there. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Johnston, Hearn, Wilson, and Balancino all tight together.
So Grandpa Slaughter just jumps in, and he says that he just woke up from his pre-nighttime nap. So he missed seeing Slaughter up in the top spot, but Brad's working his way back up now in the 8th position.
Yeah, Slaughter and Balancino stayed out for one of the yellows that came out. Meanwhile, everyone else came down pit road. Then Slaughter, we got a little wiggly back there. Got some wiggling going on around the 4th, 5th spot. So Slaughter stayed out, led some laps, but got into the outside wall, and Cameron Hearn went around, and that brought out the caution, but Slaughter and Hearn have both recovered nicely, both sitting inside the top 10. Hearn is still trying to get around Johnston. Actually, he got passed by Balanchino. Balanchino passed both Hearn and Johnston to get inside the top 5. And meanwhile, just in front of Balanchino, we just saw the 91 Jake Nichols down on the bottom going into turn 1 and taking over second from David Weishart.
Yeah, you know, we're here for our audience. You tell us that your ticket got you in here a little late, and we can throw you back in, and another caution is out. And it's just so you know, we've been seeing that out a lot.
Yep, so the 6th caution has come out on lap number 60. We'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out this most recent caution. So that's the 12 of Rafe Slate on the bottom of Forrest Smith, and just in front of those two is the 81 of Wayne Culberson. And Forrest Smith just getting loose and into the outside wall coming out of turn 2. Still green flag there. It's got to be round here in 3 and 4 where the car just snaps on him. It's going to be right here as they come off turn 4. Oh, they were still going.
I think it's more here. So.
Still looking at the 84 Forrest Smith as the cause of the caution. Might be right here in turn 2. Turn 2's been a trouble spot.
Oh, in front of him.
Oh, right in front of him.
Oh, man, nowhere to go. And there's that pinball. Bang! There it comes back down the track.
Whoa, there's Tom DeLeo going right through the middle of those two. Wow, that was a close one there for Tom DeLeo. He probably got flashbacks of that from season 1 Argo.
Not again.
And there's the porta potty that Eric Jones came out of. Right there on the backstretch.
You gotta watch it. They come out of everywhere.
It looks like we're in the replay graphic as some drivers have made their way down pit road, and one of those being Brad Slaughter in the 88. So we're completing lap 62 now on lap 63 of 140 for the Gateway 200 here for race number 8 of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series powered by Butt Kicker. Boy, gotta give a shout out to Brian Dixon. He's currently slotted in the 9th spot. He started all the way down in 27th. So another solid showing that we're seeing from drivers who start in the back and work their way up to the front. Currently P9 for the 03 of Brian Dixon. And we're looking here, everyone from Cameron Hearn on back, so 13th on back, made their way down pit road. Some drivers doing splash and go, or might be two side tires. Tyler Nichols and Adam Capps. 7 seconds for Nichols, 5 for Capps, and everyone else is 14 seconds or above. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll be going green next time by, and the field going to be doubling up. Skyly, the leader, going to restart on the bottom. Jake Nichols on the outside. We'll go ahead and get a little update on the temperature of the racetrack and more from Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. So it's partly cloudy even though the sun is shining. Air temp 89, track temp 116. Interesting, interesting. Humidity 45%, and winds are from the southeast at 9 miles an hour. Not sure what the temperature was in the pre-race, but I'm sure that it's gone up a few degrees. And a hot slick track means less grip, more wheeling. So we'll see the pace car come down pit road. Coyote going to launch from the bottom and lead us back to the green flag at Gateway. And right there, he cuts up in front of the 91 of Jake Nichols, who's got Weishart looking down low, but he's going to try and send it to get a run on the outside. Whoa, they get so close to hitting that wall and hitting each other coming out of turn 2 and turn 4 every time. Ballacino looking to the outside of the 33 of Weishart for the third spot. Really tight here. Oh, and we just saw Jordan Martin getting to the wall right there. Cameron Hearn going around him. Brad Slaughter as well going around the number 11. Now the field single filing up a little further towards the back. We see some side-by-side action. Oh, and now we see sideways Jordan Martin in the 11. Spinning down the backstretch.
Martin and Larch.
Yeah, no caution out. They are out of the racetrack. Not deemed a caution from iRacing, so we're still green. In the meantime, the 7 Skyler will continue to lead. Ballacino moved up to second in the midst of all the chaos there coming out of turn 2. Oh, and Jordan Wilson into the wall. Brad Slaughter running in the 9th spot, but Cameron Hearn got to be the biggest mover of the restart. He restarted back in 13th, and he's already back to P6, just one spot outside the top 5. And one spot away from the lead is Alan Ballacino looking to get around the 7 of Scioli. He has a run down on the bottom. He's going to look towards the inside of the track here in turn 1. Going to see if he'll carry that momentum off turn 2. Oh, it is tight side-by-side action for the lead. Hearn also looking for that 5th spot from Johnson. But up front, the 70 of Ballacino going to try and slide it down on the bottom. Here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols. Ballacino completes the pass. The Ball now moves on to 2nd. Oh, hard wreck into the wall. It's Wilson and Slaughter sitting in the middle of the track coming out, turn 4. The caution is going to come out for the 7th time on lap 69. And we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay. Man, that was just abrupt. They went right into the outside wall head on. So while they were side by side for the lead and for the 5th spot, they got a little squirrely behind Hearn and Johnston. Justin Wilson, excuse me. Slaughter gets into the back of Johnston, and then he gets help.
He has a stack.
Man.
The stack.
Boy, look at this. Woo! Adam Capps keeping his foot in it on the outside. So he gets help from behind after hitting Johnston. Taking a little nudge at the 5, and here comes Capps. Woo! Right there, keeping his foot in it. There's Ryan Swan as well. Oh man, that is just unfortunate for the 88 and the 58. Caution coming out on lap 69, the 7th of the race, as we move towards the halfway portion of our event, which is presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor Swift Lifestyles for clean supplements that can help improve your focus in gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, Area iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off any order. We would once again like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continuous support of Area iRacing. So currently the leader is Alan Balancino as he comes across this stripe to officially complete lap 70 and to officially put this race halfway through. He's had a pretty fast car throughout this first stint of the race, still got another half to go. But he's a sleeper to some. That's why he's got Eat Sleep Race on that number 70. And then the driver right behind him, the driver to beat, I'd say, so far in this first half of the Cup Series, Jake Nichols in the number 91. He's had a top 5 speed all night long. He's got 3 wins on the season. He's trying to make it 4 from tonight's race at Gateway. And currently we're seeing Cameron Hearn is slotted in 3rd. So Cameron Hearn, after the troubles that he's been through in this race, he's currently P3, and especially after what happened last race in Darlington, being involved in 2 cautions and still coming home P2, no surprise that he's driven back inside the top 5. Brian Dixon started all the way back in 27th, and now he finds himself P4. So a solid run there for the 03, and looking to keep that solid run going. And boy, look at this. Rafe Slate is in 5th. He was involved in the first caution, multiple laps down, trying to repair that damage as best as he could. I don't know if we can get a close-up of that, Harold, but he's got the modified look. He's missing the complete front bumper of that number 12 car. There it is right there. Look at all the damage on that car, and that he's rebounded to not only back on the lead lap, but inside the top 5. Solid run there for the 12 of Rafe Slate. There's damage all over that number 12. Then right behind him, slotted in P6, is the 81 of Dwayne Culberson. He's had quite a night as well. Currently slotted P6, looking to finish maybe a few more positions better than he would like. 51 of Mark Patterson, we haven't talked about him all race. He's a part of Fazekas Motorsports, and he's got a solid run going so far in the 7th spot. James Scioli came down pit road. He's been up front for the majority of this race. Gonna have to keep an eye on him. Nick Johnson and David Weishart as well. All those guys have top 5 speed. We'll see if that can carry over to the second half of the race as the green flag flies once more at Gateway. So excuse me, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Alan Balancino, the leader, choosing to restart from the outside lane. Oh, there goes Scioli looking to the inside of Rafe Slate there for P6. Jake Nichols down to the bottom, got a solid run underneath our race leader, Alan Balancino, and right behind those two, Cameron Hearn in the Skull Bandit car. Whoa, had to get it out of the wall there in turn 4, nearly making contact with it and nearly losing the race car.
Jake Nichols is putting the pressure on. He's got 20 lap older tires than the rest of them.
And he's trying to get it done on the bottom. Whoa, there's Nick Johnson back there. Rafe Slate still holding on to 5th, and he's got company there from the 28 of Johnson, who's looking to complete the pass. The battle continues through turn 4, and this battle for the lead will continue off turn 4. Cameron Hearn, Alan Balancino, they're going to be side by side. Nope, he's going to stay tucked in as they head into turn 1. Now they'll be side by side. And Hearn will complete the pass on Balancino and take over as race leader. So we're seeing Nick Johnston move up through the field. He's got the freshest tires inside the top 5. As Harold mentioned, Jake Nichols is currently on 50 laps on this stint of tires. Our race leader, Cameron Hearn, is currently on 25 laps for Alan Balancino. And while Nick Johnston, 6.
I think Jake Nichols is going to need to come down shortly, but that's part of his plan to get to right about the 80 some odd and then come down, I believe. We'll see.
Boy, oh boy, we are seeing the 67 of Hearn and the speed he's got. He is flying. Right behind him, though, Bow for second. Johnston below the 70 of Balancino. So they're looking to be side by side heading into turn 3. Johnston with the edge. Looking to carry that speed off turn 4, and he's completed the pass right there. Got smoke down there on pit road. Might be a car, might be a barbecue, might be Eric Jones. It's actually Dom DeLeo. So we're seeing that number 22. Take a look at a quick one to go replay.
Engine.
Yep, and it looks like another engine failure. Boy, it's rare that we see an engine failure in any of the area series, and we've seen 2 tonight. Saw one from Garrett Heath, and we just saw one there from Dom DeLeo.
It's definitely part of that shifting.
Yeah, it definitely is, because these guys are shifting all the way down to 3rd, then through 4th, and then up to 5th, and then back down to 4th, as we saw Jake Nichols on his qualifying lap. He downshifted the 4th here through 3 and 4. And then when these guys go down the front stretch and into turn 1, they're going to be in 5th gear. Then they're going to move down to 4th and then down to 3rd.
Shifting too many times down will cause that engine to go real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the drivers that I heard, or actually the only driver that I heard that downshifted, it sounds like he downshifted too much, is that 33 of David Weishart. He was looking for a top 5, trying to get around the 91 of Jake Nichols, and he's going to send it down here into turn 3. He said he downshifted into 2nd gear. I'm pretty sure that might have been a joke, but he may, knowing Weishart, it might actually be true.
Well, later in a run, that could possibly be the case. Here's 4th.
We're on the in-studio setup here and the in-car setup.
That was interesting. He stayed in 4th throughout that entire corner, which that's the corner they dropped down to 3rd.
Yep. I mean, overall, during the race, we could see some changes for these drivers. And then again, when I heard the 2nd gear fiasco, it was in the pre-race. So I think as Weishart has gotten accustomed to the car and the capability that it's got, then got more accustomed to, okay, well, maybe I can keep it in this gear instead of moving all the way down to this gear. And it looks like it's working just fine for him running in the 4th spot. He and teammate James Guiley running 3rd and 4th, trying to catch Nick Johnston and Cameron Hearn, the top 2. And they're actually side by side for the lead now. Or Johnston's trying to look down low. Gonna stay tucked in. Gonna try the outside. Oh, Hearn will give him all the outside that he wants, because that looked to be a little too much outside for the 28. Johnston once again trying low through 3 and 4. Going to get up to the bumper. Might stay tucked in, though. Nope. He's looking down low. Oh, that was close. big time there for the 28 of Nick Johnston. That's going to allow Hearn to have a little bit of breathing room.
Brad Slaughter has been the last driver to call it a night.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers come in and call it a night. I'm surprised Dom Verleo hasn't called it a night. We saw him blow up there.
He's on pit lane. He'll be there for a while.
So seeing the gap stay the same from third and fourth to first and second, even though these guys are still going at it for the lead side by side once again. Going to be tight here through turn 4. Hearn trying to get the edge from Johnston as they head into turn 1. Oh, close to making contact right there. Here comes the 28. They're going to make contact. Contact made between Johnston and Hearn. That's going to allow the 28 to move into the lead. Hearn going to drop down to second.
Hearn's going to remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know he's going to remember that.
He always finishes the race. No DNFs for eat, sleep, and race. The Fasicas guys don't ever quit. No quit.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned it. It's 30 minutes to get a new engine in there. So Don Verleo's going to take the 30 minutes and take the new engine. He's been on pit road for about 5 minutes now. So he's still got another 25-ish minutes to go. So now we start to see the 7 and the 33 close in on our front two. Gap at one point was 1.8 to 1.9 seconds. Now we're starting to see it close down to the 1.2 second margin. And Harold, it seemed like the 28 of Nick Johnston had the faster car. He can catch him, but he just couldn't find a way around him. And it seemed like the only way he was going to get around is with contact.
You know, I think that's the rub in his racing. All it did is upset the 67. The 67 didn't take any damage. You know, put him back one spot. You know, the idea of hitting a guy and then he can't finish the lap. That's the dump and run. This is more of a rubbing and bumping and that kind of stuff. I said, I know Cameron's going to go, okay, I got you. Let's see how it is.
Yeah, and should point out, both of these guys have yet to win a race this season in the Cup Series. It's really the only winners that we've had were Jake Nichols, Brad Slaughter, Eli Green has a win. Excuse me, Ed Robertson and Ryan Hartz. So drivers, every driver inside the top 5 currently looking to collect their first win of the season. And really, all 5 of these guys have race-winning speed. Even Jake Nichols has race-winning speed sitting in 6th.
Interesting, 64 laps have been put in by Jake Nichols.
Yep, so it looks like Jake might be bringing that car down pit road. Actually, no, he's staying out.
I keep an eye on Nichols. You know, he's conserving fuel right now.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely is.
He does not want to go down a lap to the leaders by green flag pitting. That might end up biting him. At
this rate, if we go on a long green flag run, we really haven't had that long of a green flag run. This thing could go green to the end, and all these guys are going to have to, we know they're going to have to pit at least once.
Correct. But now I believe at Gateway, you can go down 2 laps during a green flag pit stop. And that would really hurt Nichols if the caution came out in the middle of that, because you wouldn't get 2 wave rounds, you only get the 1.
Yeah, it is one of the shorter racetracks that we go to in Gateway, a 1.25 mile track, where say a track like Pocono, Daytona, Talladega, even some of the road courses, you could pit and stay on the lead lap, or might only go just a lap down. But here at these shorter tracks, we could see drivers going, 1 lap down, 2 lap down, maybe 3 laps down. So yeah, the possibility can happen. As we're looking through, Caleb Steimer has rated the channel. Welcome, one and all. And welcome, Caleb Steimer.
Yep.
Steimer, a CNC Logging Truck Series driver. Scored a victory last season in Area I Racing in the ARCA Series at Talladega in a dramatic fashion with Travis Beckner, as we see the 67 of Hearn go up and basically say hi to the fans over there in turn 1. Caleb Steimer is a winner in Area I Racing, and he has rated the channel. So we see the field working their way around the lap car. Boy, right in the middle of the turn, too. I don't think I've seen that. And we're seeing the top 4 now within a second and a half of each other. Cameron Hearn, after being raced aggressively for that lead by Nick Johnston, has stayed within 3 car lengths of race leader Nick Johnston. James Scully has closed in the gap. He's about 4 car lengths behind Hearn, 8 car lengths behind Johnston, and then right behind him is teammate and owner of David Weishart Racing, David Weishart, running in the 4th spot. Oh, Jordan Martin getting in the wall. That was a close one between he and Scioli. He tried to take the outside approach and let the leaders go. But man, that turn 4 wall being tough to not only those going at it for the win, but those that are trying to stay on the lead lap.
Mm-hmm. Jake Nichols now at 70 laps. Showing he could have made it halfway.
That 91 car, he is he is something with the tires and the strategy. He's trying to stay out as long as he can, trying stretching it. Nichols has an I rating of 7.2K. That's the highest in the field. So no doubt that there's tons of experience behind that number 91 car. He's actually trying to pass the 70 Balancino. A 25 lap difference on tires between the 91 and the 70. And he's going to try and use that lap car up ahead as a pick to get around the 70. They stay toe and toe, but back up front, Cameron Hearn is still closing in on the bumper of Nick Johnston.
There's some drivers on pit lane. Looks like Jacob Bell just elected to get his last servicing done.
Yep, and I feel like we should point out, obviously anyone that pits now is good to go on fuel to the end. Tires might be a concern for some, but for most they should have one more set of Goodyear Eagles left to come down and put on their car.
I don't know if there's a record for the number of times to visit pit lane during a race, but Ryan Swan is trying to become that Guinness Book of World Record holder with 11 times down pit lane.
Yeah, from that first caution on lap 1, Ryan Swan was a part of that. He's been coming down pit road just trying to get as much damage repaired on that number 1 as possible. Oh, they're going to be close there for a second. Boy, you saw Hearn going up high in 3 and 4, and it was going to carry on the exit of turn 4. Him and Skylerly almost made contact, but Skylerly going to take second away, and that's going to provide some much-needed breathing room for Nick Johnston. We've crossed the 100 lap mark of this 140 lap race, and the coverage of the last 40 laps will be brought to you by CNC Logging. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the CNC Logging Truck Series this season in area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Godwood, big or small, summer or fall, we'll cut your log, guaranteed. CNC Logging. You can catch tomorrow night's broadcast of the CNC Logging Truck Series from Gateway, where we'll be seeing 40 trucks go toe-and-toe from Gateway, and you can also catch the CNC Logging sponsored 67 and 28. So Cameron Hearn, sponsored by CNC Logging, you'll see him race Thursday night along with another CNC Logging driver, Travis Beckner. They'll be going to Rockingham. That'll be an interesting one. Yep, that's the Lodge Box Series. They'll be going to Rockingham. They're not going to Gateway. As we mentioned, real life Xfinity cars, they still have yet to go back to Gateway. And, you know, one day I'm hoping that they do that. But in the meantime, they'll be going to Rockingham, and I think that's going to be a really, really fun race. Make sure you guys tune in for that one. That one's going to be good. But also make sure you tune in for Tuesday night. No knock on the Truck Series. But I'm really excited to see how these cars will race at Rockingham on Thursday night. Went towards the back, we saw Cameron Hearn get a little wiggle there out of turn 2 over the last couple of laps. And as we mentioned, he's clipping some of the rumble strips there, and we only see that really at Pocono, although over the last few years they have removed the rumble strips from the turns, but it's still here at Gateway. And that 91 of Jake Nichols is still there on the bumper of Alan Ballacino now, as he is looking to complete almost 80 laps on his current set of fuel and tires. Boy, you gotta be thinking if he can go 80 laps, the top 4 can go to the distance, because for those guys, they'd have to go another 30 laps. That'd be almost 70 for...
Well, all that is all for naught.
Oh.
Caution is out.
Wow.
Everybody's going to go down fuel and tires to the end.
So that's going to be a big break there for the 91 of Jake Nichols. Boy, that almost 80 laps on that set for the number 91 car, and our 8th caution of the race coming out on lap 106. We'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out our most recent caution. And it looks like it might be the 2 of Michael Larch. It just gets loose out of turn 2 and into the outside wall.
Able
37
to
get
laps
that-
on his tires.
Oh. Intriguing that is, as he got to the inside of the racetrack. All right. Now everyone's going to be coming down pit road, getting those fresh set of tires on.
We have a report from the number 91 camp. They still had 4 laps of fuel left.
Wow. They had 81 laps before coming down pit road. Here we go. Now this battle off pit road could decide the race. Gonna be tight.
Really, the Cameron Hearn passed his pit, had to roll back in.
You see Balancino there servicing his car. He is out and underway. And now we see
Scioli
everyone else
first
come off. So it's Scioli, Johnston, Weishart, Balancino, Jake Nichols, Cameron Hearn losing a few positions there after that slide. Garrett Grant, Rafe Slate, Daniel Miglin, and they're still going at Jordan Martin, P10 off pit road. Boy, oh boy, we still got over 30 laps of this to settle out.
I know, I look at that clock, I think we're in overtime.
It feels a lot like overtime, sure does.
I think I'm going to talk to Jake about. I have another league that we use on Friday nights that goes by time. I'm loving I'm loving that series. They do 95 minutes, and that's it. So no overtime in that series. So. I think you've actually jumped in and watched the Friday night group, so that's...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I sure did. I watched the Phoenix broadcast from a while back. Boy, that looks like that looks like some fun. Got the different mixture of next gen and then Xfinity cars, then you got trucks, and then they're all going at it, and then they're all wrecking.
Well, with the week off last week, I was able to race the Monday night double trouble last week at Michigan, and we were talking about that off air before the Tuesday night All-Star race. But that's ARCA and Trucks, and that's their developmental league. So if you're looking for something interesting, you can check out Split Decision on Facebook. And they always welcome newcomers, and their iRatings are out of the stratosphere. So guys like the number 91 of Jake Nichols are not there. So the guys that are, you start iRacing with a rating of 1,500, and it moves up and down based on your official racing position, at the end of a race.
Yeah, it sounds like something Ryan Swan could probably dip his toes in.
But they are currently in their playoff system. Only a couple more weeks to left. They'll be taking a break next week as well.
So we're looking to go back green here with 30 to go when they cross the stripe. 17 cars on the lead lap. And the first of those being James Scioli. He's elected to restart from the bottom. Nick Johnston on the outside lane. Pace car is going to make the sharp left turn on the pit road, and that 7's going to take off right there. Green flag back out at Gateway.
And Scioli takes the green flag with just over 30 laps left to go. Michael Larch black flagged by Pierce Moffitt.
Jake Nichols moving into fourth, passing the 70 Balancino. Boy, everyone's got to be on go mode now.
So Pierce Moffitt and Jacob Hudson have issued Mr. Larch a pass-through penalty.
Very intrigued to see the reasoning behind that.
I believe maybe the second caution caused by that number 2.
Oh, yeah, could be. Boy, that 28 of Johnston is looking low. Guy only going to throw the block. He let one get away from him last week at Darlington. Led the most laps in that. Led 87 of 200 and can't do it 2 weeks in a row. He's not going to let it happen. But Johnston not going down without a fight. He put up the fastest lap the last 2 laps. They're still toe and toe for the lead.
28 getting that back deck of the 7.
Gonna ride on board from the back deck of the 7. Well, I'm pretty sure
Johnson's trying really hard not to be the 22.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I don't know. He says, if I do it, there's still too much time left. You come back and give it back to me. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Oh, right there. Oh man, that's about as close as you can get, and they're catching the Michael Arch machine that served as pass-through. But you see Johnson, he's trying to cut outside and then diamond it back down on the bottom, and he couldn't do that last time by, and he couldn't do that this time by. Oh, he might try it. No, he'll stay tucked in line.
Got that black car. That's what he's concerned about.
Oh, he's going to try and use him as a pick. Oh, it's going to be tight. Larch is going to go as close to the wall as he can to stay out of the leader's way. Yeah, Johnson got up along the outside of the 7, but wasn't enough. In the top 6 pass Michael Larch safely. Jake Nichols trying to peek his nose down on 3rd from Weishart.
Yep, and that's so the race control's listening to us, and they say the pass-through was for the 2nd incident. So, see, those guys are doing a good job, Jacob Hudson and Pierce Moffitt. Just so you guys know, I don't read the rule book, okay? Maybe I should, but I don't. I have too many leagues, and they all have different rules. So I kind of just report what I see race control put into the chat for me.
Boy, there's a ton of battles going on right now. Got this battle for the lead, battle for 3rd, battle for 5th. It's all right here within the top 6. Nichols trying to pass Weishart. Hearns already passed Ballacino for that top 5 spot. But they're just watching the 7 and the 28 drive away from them both. Still going at it for the lead. Johnson trying to find a way around Scioli, whether it's inside, outside. He can catch him, but he can't quite pass him.
And Nichols watching that in front of him. He's got around the group there. Puts himself in 3rd now to bring in the leaders.
Yep, and the laps are dwindling, so we're going to see the speed on that 91 car come to life. He might put himself in the position to win. There's Adam Capps just in front of our leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here comes the move from Johnson. He's going to send it down in. Oh, slide up. Couldn't quite do it. They were so close to making contact. Piece of paper in between those two. That's how close it was.
Scioli definitely gave him a lot of room underneath him. Now he's going to the high side. Going to diamond it down underneath probably. Nope, he's going to look to the high side maybe this time. That benefit Nichols, he's almost within the draft area.
That benefit everyone behind. Jake Nichols is encouraging more of that.
Yes.
You know, go a little further up each lap. Go a little further. Oh, touch that wall.
Y'all keep fighting up there. I'll be there in a minute.
Now the 28 of Johnson trying to reel back to the bumper of the 7. We're already starting to see the separation between Jake Nichols and David Weishart. So look out, here comes that 91.
So under 20 to go at Gateway.
Boy, Johnston just wants to get around him so bad. They just can't find a way yet. Unless it's hitting the bumper, and he don't want to do that too soon, like you said. Waiting to see the 7 make a mistake, kind of like what we saw there. He bobbled a little bit in turn 4, and it's going to allow the 28 of Johnston to look down low, going into turn 1.
Nichols now within...
We locked it. Whoa!
Smoke coming off the 28's front tires there.
Yeah, they had a little lock up there going into turn 1. That's just allowing the 91 to reel in, and don't look now, Cameron Hearn is in 4th. We know he's got race-winning speed underneath that car for sure. He's also encouraging more of this between the 7 and the 28. The field works their way around Ryan Swan.
Kind of just staying right here. This is where all the battling's going on, and this happens to be in the front today.
Oh, absolutely. They are, top 6 are within 2 seconds of each other. I think everyone's kind of calmed down for the moment. The intensity will pick up.
10 to go.
Might pick up within the next lap with the 91 of Nichols catching Johnston and Scioli. Then that will prompt the 28 to have to do something. Boy, he is right there. Top 3 are all within half a second of each other.
Nichols definitely paced himself to get himself into position for the win. I would say he's probably got the best set of equipment right now. 0 incidents on that car. As he's waiting to see the top 2, see what they're going to do. He pounds less than 15. 15 to go once we get to the straight.
Yeah, we could possibly see in the Cup Series back-to-back winners with 0 incident points. If you recall last week when the Cup Series went to Darlington for the Butt Kicker Southern 500, Ryan Hartz won with 0 incident points at Darlington. And it could happen again, as you mentioned. Jake Nichols running in 3rd, 0 incident points. Looks like he's got the fastest car in the top 3. Could see that 2 weeks in a row.
Nichols applying pressure to the back of Johnston.
Oh!
Less than a 10th. Right there, he's like, meet me, get out of my way.
Meanwhile, that's allowing the 7 of Scioli to have a little more breathing room. And as we mentioned, he led the most laps last week at Darlington with 87 of the 200 laps, but got caught up in a wreck and DNF'd in the 27th place. So he's looking for a huge bounce back this week at Gateway, as Nichols trying to look low on the 28. He's going to have a run here.
Johnson's going to have to let him have it. He does.
Oh, he's loose. Oh, they nearly made contact coming out of turn 4. Johnston kept his foot in it, and it nearly caused a crash between he and Jake Nichols.
So Nichols now goes to work on Scioli as we're coming up on the 10 to go mark here at Gateway.
Coming up on the lap car of Ed Robertson. Robertson staying well out of the way.
Nichols basically just taking off 2/10 on that lap. Getting right to the back of Scioli.
And Cameron Hearn getting to the back of Nick Johnston, yeah. Boy, I can't imagine the 7 just letting the 91 go without a fight, especially after, you know, he's still going for his first win this season in the Cup Series. And after being so close last week at Darlington, he's going to have a little more fuel underneath that 7 to put up more of a fight.
Well, he's going to have to do something because it looks like Nichols is there to make the pressure. but can he make himself wide enough that he can't be passed for the last 11 laps?
Gonna give him the top, and he's gonna apply the bumper whenever he's gonna try and cut down. It looks like that's the same thing happening behind for third.
Nichols on the inside has position.
Yep, this could be the battle for the win here. Nichols on the bottom, Skylerly on the outside, still trying to keep a run going.
Good car control.
Oh, and the back out.
Slide.
Jake Nichols to the lead with 10 to go from Gateway.
Textbook pass here at short track racing. Can Scioli return the favor?
Well, he might be within striking distance still, but I don't know. I might think that Skylerly and Johnson might have burned up their stuff trying to stay in front of one another. Oh, contact made in the back for third. Johnston up the track. Hearn into third. There might not have even been contact, but it looked like that the two made contact. Johnston was using his bumper to block Cameron Hearn the last couple of laps.
Could that be a return from what happened earlier?
Oh, they're still up the track. It might be. They're dead to dead, even for third. Oh, yep. Yep. Oh, Cameron Hearn's going to give the bumper to Johnston. He's just going to send him into the wall.
And Cameron's like, I'm not having that. He's like, you worked me up earlier, and that's it. Not going to let you do it to me again.
Oh, boy, the battle's still going on for fourth. Weishart and Johnston close and close with each other, and the two lap cars they're trying to stay out of harm's way. Yeah, Cameron Hearn did not forget about what Nick Johnston did, and as we mentioned, Johnston kept putting the bumper on the front bumper of Cameron Hearn, blocking him those last few laps, and looked like Hearn had enough of it. Jake Nichols now with a 1 second lead over James Scioli. It looks like Weishart is still there on the bumper of the 28, trying to get around him. Boy, it's gotten cloudy at the track. You can see all the cloud cover there is extremely dark. More grip. Back up front, still a sizable gap between the 91 and the 7. There's the 03 of Brian Dixon still going around the track. Nick Johnston now trying to prevent the 33 of Weishart from going around him, trying to hold on to the fourth place position. We've crossed 5 to go here from Gateway, 5 more laps. And Nichols continuing to grow that gap between himself and James Scioli. Hearn is currently on his own, looking like he'll hold on to third unless there's a dramatic change there. Johnston fourth, Weishart fifth, and then right in the back there you see Alan Balanchino slowly creeping in. Don't know if I'll have enough time to try and get inside the top 5, but still a strong run there for that number 70. Jake Nichols going to see 3 fingers in the air from the virtual flagman. 3 more laps around Gateway. Well, the last time we went live here was the All-Star race Tuesday night. And the second half of the race, the 91 car turned it up. Front four were battling, and in the second half, Jake Nichols slowly closed in and kept passing him one after another, and the longer the run got, the faster the 91 car got, and he wound up winning the All-Star race and winning over $200. So you see him come across the stripe now, 2 laps to go. Boy, Weishart all over the bumper of Johnston as they're going to go into turn 1. Weishart trying to do anything he can to get around and try to run the top, diamond it down to the bottom. Balancino still closing in. Not sure if he'll have enough time, though. So we await to see the leader coming off turn 4, and there it is, the white flag in the air. One final time around Gateway, presented by One to Go Studios. Boy, what a race it's been. We've had controversy and drama all from the start of the race. They didn't even complete a lap. We had a caution there, and it just completely changed things. And boy, we have seen quite the battles here, and it looks like we're going to see another thrilling victory for the 91 of Jake Nichols. He's going to come around 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to pick up his 4th win on the season in the Cup Series in 8 races. Bringing out checkered flag in the air. Jake Nichols wins at Gateway. Scioli second and Hearn third. Coming across the stripe, Johnston's going to hold on to 4th. Weishart P5 and Alan Balancino right there on the bumper at the very end. He had one more lap. He could have gotten a top 5 finish. Man, oh man, what a race that was. Checker flag even out for Jacob Bell coming across the stripe. And we will see the 91 of Balancino. This is how you know we've been live for a little too long. The 91 of Nichols. Gonna park it on the front stretch. Possibly do some burnouts, maybe not. We'll try and get your podium drivers here in just a moment. He's actually waiting for the rest of his teammates. Tyler Nichols and Dwayne Culberson there on the front stretch. Looks like they're doing the photo op here. Yeah, and it looks like we'll get our race winner here right now. Oh, and we got him. Jake Nichols, winner of tonight's race at Gateway. This is Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Boy, this was not a traditional victory. Didn't lead the most laps. Still had race-winning speed, and you went over 80 laps there on a run on the caution before the run to the finish, and in kind of an odd fashion for you to win, because typically, like I said, we see you sort of dominate. Really didn't dominate like we thought. There were a lot of drivers that had race-winning speed, like the 7 of Scioli. Take us through that last green flag run to the checkered.
Yeah, I had a lot of I don't even know how to explain it. A lot of something going on this race. I was trying to just save my tires. You had the option to shift into 3rd or 4th in 1 and 2, and I try to limit going to 3rd because you just heat up your tires so much if you did it wrong. So I tried to just stay in 4th, and I don't know, something hit me. This was my flu game. I'm just coming off being sick for a couple days, but I feel good. Throat was a little dry at the end there from just trying to focus so hard and not drinking enough water under the previous caution. But the Solar Flare Toyota Camry drove amazing, especially on the long run. I kind of forced myself to be a little tighter there when I was using 4th gear the whole time in the corners. So I just had that drive off that no one else had on the long run there. I was scared the run before though. I was 4 laps from running out of gas. I got really lucky with that yellow because if it didn't come out, I was going to be one of the only people that had to pit. But thankfully, some luck was on our side. We're thinking about some people in my hometown or where I live right now, currently Chesney. There was a tornado earlier in the evening on the other side of the town from me, so hopefully there wasn't too many people affected. But we're thinking of everybody, no matter what. Glad we got the win. Drove really hard those last 40 laps. These guys were tough. You mentioned it. There was so many guys that had pace tonight, and it showed. It was a battle all the way to the checkered.
Absolutely. Harold, any questions for our race winner?
Well, Jake, you kind of put on it. I was looking at it. I know you can do the most last, but yeah, you were going to put yourself in a hole, and I'm sure you and your crew were talking about it on there. So, what was the plan? You would have went a lap down most likely on the green flag pit stops if somebody else had to.
Yeah, our plan, I was trying to do something different. I knew I had pace if we went green. I didn't have as much short run because I just didn't want to really hurt the tires too much. I felt like I could have had short run if I needed to, but I was just trying to play the game where if we got a caution with, let's say, 50 something to go, I could pit and still have an extra set on tires. There was only Alan Ballacino, my brother, and Dwayne. We were some of the only people to have a tire set left at the checkered. So if we had a caution with like 20 to go, we could have pitted and just blew past everybody with tires. But we almost hurt us, almost ended our race completely doing that. But I was willing to do it. I wanted to try something different just to see. It didn't play out how I thought it would, but either way, it ended up in victory lane for us. So at the end of the day, it worked.
Yeah, it worked indeed. And boy, talk about sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. You had a little bit of both. You were lucky and obviously you were good there in the run towards the end, picking up the 4th win of the season in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. Any shout-outs you would like to give out before you go?
Yeah, everybody at Solar Flare Racing. We would have hoped that Tyler Sifford would have been here tonight, but he had a family emergency earlier on today, so he couldn't show up. We'll be looking forward to him returning in 2 weeks at Charlotte. I think we go to. I think TK is looking forward to that. Tyler Nichols there. He's looking forward to Charlotte big time. He thinks that's the track that he can really show up and compete. Hopefully Dwayne can do the same, and hopefully we'll see myself in this beautiful looking car out there. And everybody at Area, thanks to all of them. They put this on. I'm dedicated all the way through, cautions, all race or not. We had a cleaner race tonight, and you always love to see that. So thanks to all of them for racing me hard and clean and respectful. And thanks to you guys again for broadcasting. I always love going back and watching and seeing what you guys think of certain moves that are made by other drivers and myself and the strategy calls. So thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying this show, and everybody that watches every week. Thank you for watching. Without viewers, we couldn't do a broadcast. So thanks to everybody around.
Yeah, well, one of the moves made at the end. We will be talking to one of the drivers behind that in just a moment, as you mentioned. But congrats once again on the win, and enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, thank you.
That was our race winner, Jake Nichols. Now we're going to have James Scioli come up. 2nd place finisher. I'm not sure if he led the most laps or not, but nonetheless, still proved that 7 car has speed. James Scioli coming home P2. Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Boy, we mentioned it with Jake. There were a lot of drivers out there that looked like they had race-winning speed, and obviously you were one of them. Can't confirm if you led the most laps or not. You led 60 out of 140. Pretty good, especially after coming off last week at Darlington, leading the most laps. Not being able to finish after a miscue on pit road there, but you brought back the same speed underneath that 7, and then towards the last stint, the 91 car slowly crept in and passed you. But you had a close battle there with yourself and Nick Johnston right off the bat from the final restart. Is there anything that you would do different from that? Because it seemed like the battle between the two of you just chewed up a lot of the tires that both of you guys had.
Honestly, my tires really weren't too bad battling with him. I mean, I was getting a little bit loose out of the corners. I was just trying to make sure that he wouldn't get in position on me again like he got inside me the one time. So I was just trying to make sure he wouldn't get in position, but you kind of just know that that's how these things are going to go. Jake's going to run a mediocre qualifying lap and kind of just sit back the whole race, and then he's going to find another gear at the end and smoke you. So, I mean, it feels good to be the best of the rest, but he's just on another level, and clearly I just can't do anything about it. So, second's going to be the best we can get.
Your hand on. At least you finished this week. Couldn't do it last week, but once again, still showing that the 7 cars got race-winning speed right there. Harold, any questions for our second place driver?
I see, and looked like the only way to pass here was to get right up on the bumper of the other guy, maybe enter high, and then diamond the corner underneath, and to do the slide off. Was that pretty much the only way you guys could really pass?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just tough track to pass. The way that I was doing it, I was just running good on the long run, saving my tires, and then just kind of blowing the doors off people. At least that was the plan. So seemed to work pretty good. That's really the only way I could think of to do it, rather than like getting into somebody or moving them out your way.
Well, James, it was a good bounce back from the previous week at Darlington. Coming home P2, solid finish for you and David Weishart Racing. Weishart coming home P5, so a solid points run there for the team side of things. Any shout-outs you would like to give out before you go?
Yeah, thanks to DWR. Good day for us, obviously, and thanks to Butt Kicker, and thanks to you guys for putting it on.
All righty, we'll let you go. Congrats on the second place finish, and then enjoy the off week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That was our second place finisher, and now we'll bring in our third place finisher, Cameron Hearn. Cameron, this is Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
I got you.
Boy, no surprise you were involved in multiple cautions, but still had race-winning speed, and got to talk about the very end there with Nick Johnston. We saw that you two had contact earlier in the race, and then towards the end of that run, he looked like he was trying to keep you at bay, and you weren't having it. Take us through what that moment was.
Hey, you don't poke the bear. All right, you don't do it. But it's one of those things. I felt like I caught him from a second half back in like maybe 5 laps, right? And then I caught him, and I felt like he was blocking me, whether he was blocking me or not. Gave him a little bump in the corner. Thought we were all good, right? Thought we were all good. Apparently not. The next time he had a chance on me, like legit, didn't even try to make the corner. And then we cycled through the pits. You know, he had fresher tires. He got by me. Then at the end there, gave him a little bump and run, and I think he hit turn 1 and 2 wall, trying to make sure he got me. But it's okay. Just racing like that, it only hurts yourself. I think David probably had a faster car than him at the end because he's overdriving. But all in all, yeah, people can drive how they want. I had a lot of fun. A little mad, but I had a lot of fun driving like that. It's been a long time coming. It's not a short track per se, but you have to drive it like a short track. I felt like maybe I was the second fastest car. I think Jake was fast all night. Would have been interesting if I would have started. I messed up in the pits, lost 2 spots. But all in all, good run. Third place finish when I was backwards on the backstretch trying to miss a wreck. I'll take that. Good recovery.
Absolutely, and it did look like that. We kept looking towards the back because the battle for the lead was going on. Like, oh man, they're still going up the track over there.
Yeah, we were throwing some jabs.
Harold, any questions for our third place finisher?
Well, I just talked about it earlier, with Darlington and the actual NASCAR series. Saw Joey Logano basically dump and run the 24. And I was talking to Hunter and said, the passes that were being made for the most part, it was a little bit of a rub, caused you to lose a position, but now it'll be wrecking. It kind of seen the both ways, even the little more aggressive stuff. But we're not wrecking people. You are kind of moving them out of the way, but the idea is to get them behind you, not to send them to the wall, right?
Yeah, there's the way I look at it. If you hit somebody square in the back, that's fair game. Hitting somebody in the left rear quarter panel going in the turn where these cars are so twitchy anyways, that's kind of pushing the issue. Maybe 5 to go, less than 10 to go, but not when you have 50 laps, right? There's just too early for that. But that's my opinion, right? People can race how they want to race. I had fun. I just, talked it up for one from memory.
Well,
Indeed.
think if you go back, you'll probably hear me say something about Cameron.
Well, there's a good way. I'm in the bandit car. I got a mask, so we don't know who exactly is doing this stuff, but he's just driving my car.
It's not Cameron Hearn.
Yeah, it's not Cameron Hearn.
It might have been Travis Beckner. Who knows?
Yeah.
I did say something about a notebook and Cameron writing a name down.
It's a long list. I had a pocket notebook, but I had to get a spiral to keep up with it.
That's one thing as an iRacer, Cameron, you've done this a while, so and you kind of get to know the guys. You got to drive harder than the others, and the guys that are going to give you a little bit of room. And you kind of, I've always been the way I drive you the way you drive me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Throw a fastball at me, I might throw a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But I had fun. Seriously, there's no hard feelings. I had fun. It was fun. It made it really interesting at the end.
Oh yeah.
Hoping that we wouldn't get take each other out, but it was fun. We both finished right where we should have, so that's good to see. No one got backwards.
Yep, I was going to say, coming home P3, another solid finish for that 67 CNC logging machine. Any shout-outs you would like to give out before you go?
Of course, well, thank you guys for the broadcasts, all the league admins, CNC logging, Lead Entertainment Gaming. Had a fast car tonight. Shout out to my mom, dad, my wife. My son's Hayden's birthday is 3 years old today. And I came home third, right? 3-3, baby. So all in all, it was a fun night. I don't know where we're racing the rest of the week. I think we're racing a different track maybe, but I'm looking forward to it. Again, I appreciate you guys for the broadcast. It is awesome watching a little bit tonight and for sure tomorrow.
Well, let me be your secretary for you. Tomorrow night we're back here, and then Thursday we're going to go to Rockingham.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
So don't get on the plane tonight. Tonight you stay here, and then Thursday you make your way to North Carolina.
Yeah, me and Nick are going to sit here and roast some marshmallows.
Once again, shout out to the birthday boy Hayden. Turns 3 today. Dad came home third.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I think not. Now, congrats on the finish, Cameron. Have a good night. That was third place finisher Cameron Hearn. Boy, it always seems to line up in the stars. Always. Elwood Design race recap here. Jake Nichols getting the win at the very end. Had 8 cautions for 32 laps. Nick Johnson, fastest lap, 34.681. And we'll go ahead and get your finishing results here. Top 3 drivers, we just talked to them. Jake Nichols getting the win, 4th win of the season. James Garley coming so close in second, and Cameron Hearn with a controversial 3rd place finish from the battles that he had with Nick Johnston, who finished 4th. David Weishart coming home 5th, and Alan Balancino again right there at the very end between the 4th and 5th place battle. Couldn't quite get there at the end. Maybe one more lap he would have had a position or 2 better. Garrett Grant 7th, Rafe Slate 8th in a modified number 12 after his lap 1 crash. Wayne Culberson and Daniel Miglin rounding out the top 10.
All right, 11th to the 20th, Nichols, TK Nichols, Dixon, Bell, Martin, and Larch. Swan, Robertson, Patterson, Caps, and Perkins finish out the top 20.
And then the rest of the field got Dominic DeLeo 21st, Brad Slaughter 22nd, Justin Wilson 23rd, Forrest Smith 24th, Paul Irvin, Randy Bechtel, Garrett Heath, and Chris Seidenfein rounding out the field. Harold, final thoughts from this race before we shift gears, or downshift, if you will, to the truck series tomorrow night.
Be a different racetrack tomorrow for the trucks for sure. They have that different horsepower package in there. There'll be more of them, so it'll be interesting to see how the trucks deal with it. But tonight we got to see, some short track mentality, moving people around, using the bumpers on people, using the side doors, whichever you needed to do to move people. Early cautions, which I think will be, again, the same thing we'll see tomorrow night, but hoping for long green flag runs to be the end.
Yeah, I thought this race was really, really good from start to finish. Even though we had a wreck on lap 1, I thought the battles were great. We always had leader didn't get out too far. There were always some battles in between. But like I said, I thought the night's race was really good from start to finish and had a little bit of everything. So yeah, we'll be catching you guys tomorrow. For the CNC Logging Truck Series, you'll have Harold and Ken Kushwa on the call at 8:30, or actually 8:40 Eastern. And then Thursday night, we'll be live from The Rock for the Lodge Box Series. I'll also be at 8:40 Eastern on the Area iRacing Twitch channel, and then we'll have an off week for Memorial Day. And yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow night and for Thursday night. So everyone up here that makes it possible. Harold Darner, executive producer. I am Ernest Levy saying so long. We'll see you later.
All right, see you in the next turn.
What an exciting race brought to you by One to Go Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.